Today we are looking at the new iPad Pro, which is, as you can see from the sort of various tablets that are laid out here, is just an iPad but big. It makes the iPad mini look, teeny tiny. This takes everything the regular iPad is doing, just does it bigger and faster. All of iOS 9's multitasking stuff is here. The iPad Pro's screen is large enough that it can run essentially two full-sized iPad apps like next to each other. When you start typing, the keyboard is larger. It kind of mimics the layout of a Mac keyboard rather than the more limited keyboard you normally get with iOS. So you have like a dedicated number row up here, up top. You have more keys to the sides, and then that's in addition to the like formatting toolbar stuff that iOS 9 introduced. Something else Apple is talking a lot about is performance. So this has an A9X chip in it, the fastest chip that Apple has designed and put in anything to date. It's a faster version of the A9 from the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6s. So it's running at a higher clock speed and it's got a much faster GPU in it. For things like gaming, I don't know that the iPad Pro is a great choice. A lot of iPhone and iPad games sort of assume that you're holding the device in one hand and then either like tilting it or like controlling what's going on the screen with your other hand. Like, as you can see, kind of holding this with one hand, it's a little like hard to balance. Like what Apple is trying to get people to do with like the faster GPU in this is more like this anatomy app, more like drafting apps, I think is a thing that they're kind of pitching. The CPU performance is a lot like a Core i5 from Intel, which is kind of impressive because this thing is very thin and it has no fan in it. And then the graphics performance is much better than what Intel has out right now, which is pretty impressive. Pretty much anything that already supports iOS 9 and like the split screen mode and that kind of thing is gonna run on the iPad Pro pretty well. Like this is Microsoft Word has no specific like iPad Pro update out right now while I'm writing this, but it works really well. But then there are other apps, like let's jump into Google Maps here, that has not been updated. And so like when you move from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 6 and you had apps for a while that looked a little bit blurry and they were just kind of blown up, the iPad Pro does the same thing. So you can see like you can go back to the old big layout for the iPad keyboard. Like that's kind of the compatibility thing. And then there are some apps that just don't work, like Spotify, which is fun. You do that for half an hour if you want it. It's never going to open. Some I think that maybe have partially tried to support iOS 9 but aren't doing it right, just look kind of busted, is like, what's all this blank space down here? Like with any new iOS device where Apple's introducing a new screen size, you're going to be waiting for a little bit for developers to catch up. The stuff that I think can expand it beyond like the standard iPad use case is the new accessories that Apple is shipping. So this is the smart keyboard, and as you can see, it looks a lot like the smart cover for a regular iPad, but Apple has a keyboard on it, basically. So using this little, the smart connector thing, you connect it to the bottom of the iPad here. That connector handles both power and data for the keyboard. Apple's kind of conducting stuff through the cover part, which is sort of interesting. Then it folds over. There are very strong magnets here and here that anchor the tablet into the keyboard. This is where I think a lot of the Microsoft Surface comparisons are coming from. Now, compared to the Surface's kickstand plus type cover, there are some shortcomings. Like I don't love that there's no palm rest. It would be nice to have some kind of like trackpad or pointing surface to make things a little bit more accurate, because otherwise, you're reaching up and you're poking at the screen. Like with other keyboards, when you connect them to the iPad, the software keyboard stays hidden. In iOS 9 with this little formatting toolbar is it's put it right at the bottom of the screen here. So you can like reach out and like undo things and redo things and copy and paste and play with formatting and stuff without really moving your fingers from the home row, which so that's nice. That's a nice change. It's also going to help you to learn like the keyboard shortcuts. So that was like Command Shift H. It's going to take you home. Command Tab, it's going to switch apps for you. Apple's using the same switch design that it used in the new Retina MacBook. So the keys are very flat. They don't have a lot of travel, but they're very firm and very clicky. There are no function keys. iOS doesn't expect like function keys, so they just didn't put them in. There's also a handy little button for international keyboards. Now for most people, that's just going to be the emoji keyboard again, but if you hit that button multiple times, it's going to let you It's going to let you toggle between the different international keyboards that you have set up. And then the other thing that I like about this relative to the Surface is you can see that the back of the smart cover part here and then the keyboard, which is very flat and firm and does not bend, it makes like one continuous flat sort of surface that doesn't take up the same amount of space as like the folded out kickstand plus the keyboard cover. This thing only opens to this angle, so if you do not like the screen pointed specifically this way, like there's nothing you can do to like angle it up. I think Apple is hoping that like Logitech and others are going to fill that gap. Apple Pencil has a lightning connector under the lid here. Now this, while it's disconnected, just kind of floats around loose. I've sort of taken it, it's got a magnet in it. The lid is not functional otherwise, like it doesn't serve as an eraser or anything, it's just kind of a cover for the port. You can plug it directly into the iPad for charging. That's also how you pair it initially. You can check battery level in the battery widget here in iOS 9. And then it also includes a little adapter that you can use to use it with a standard like lightning charger that you would have for an iPhone or iPad. I think it's pretty obvious that iOS is still like a finger first user interface. With my finger, like I can slide down and I can switch between apps. With the Apple Pencil, like it doesn't respond. It's like a primary input mechanism for the iPad Pro. Like the Apple Pencil is not something you want to be using all the time. What it's good for is for artists who are doing some sketching and drawing. Like obviously this is going to be better, like a better tool for that than your finger. So it's pressure sensitive, which is cool. So I can write in fine letters or I can write in thick letters. As you tilt the pencil, it changes the kind of line that you are drawing. This is just the demo notes app. Developers like Adobe and there's an app called Paper that I've been using that's really great. Can implement support for the Apple Pencil however they want. Palm rejection is really excellent. So I can be like leaned over like this, like jealously guarding my work from my competitors, and I can still use the pencil just fine. It's good at detecting separate touch points. So I can use my two fingers here to create a ruler, like a straight edge, which is cool. And then I can draw along the edge of it with the Apple Pencil. The tips are removable, replaceable. Apple hasn't told us how much these tips cost to replace. When you buy the pencil, it comes with two, the one that's built into it and then one spare, but they just screw on and off. By itself, there's not a lot to talk about. You kind of see it and you know what it is. It's an iPad but more, and it kind of blurs the line between the iPad and the Mac, but it's not, I don't think this is like the future of the Mac.